the stark truth for Māori economic, social and cultural survival, let's not even talk about development, let's just talk about survival, is the potential bifurcation between the funds that have been identified and the reality for ordinary Māori people on the ground. I see this because I'm a judge, so it's kind of in my face every day. Māori are the most incarcerated people in my country by 6 or 7 times. The least employed, the poorest educated, the most removed from their families, Māori children, the most unhealthy group in Aotearoa. And one of the internal risks is that becomes an external problem, that the corporate funds go on to make a lot of money, and they don't touch the lives of the people who are supposed to be their citizens, because the gap between them has now become too great. That's a risk. It's not a foregone conclusion, but it's a real risk. All right, so that's kind of the great internal challenge among the tribes, is to use what they have to recreate the social fabric of the tribe itself, to be the platform upon which the iwi, the tribe, survives. In fact, that's the only job that these corporate entities can possibly have. I'm just not sure that the new generation have twigged to that yet. The external pressures come from an economy that's highly integrated, a Māori workforce, to the extent that they're employed, highly integrated into that workforce, into the wider economy. I guess the great risk is that the tribal corporate is a bit player at best in the lives of its people. That's a great danger. All right, so there's that. As I said, these assets are very small. That means in order to touch the lives of their people, these tribes need help. They don't have enough to do it alone. I mean, for the most part, the capital sum in these treaty settlements will be 3,000 or 4,000, maybe 5,000 per person. So you think about the income off that, even if you invest it well, you're talking about $150, $200, $300 per annum per person. There's not a lot you can do with that in terms of even touching the lives of those people, let alone in terms of springing them from jail, getting them educated, and solving their type 2 diabetes problems and, third world disease problems that they suffer from. So the irony of this experiment we're walking into now, the real battle, as I said earlier, is that the tribes can't do it alone. The nation building game cannot be a game that they do solo, because if they try, they'll fail. And that means the only choice is partnership with big players outside, primarily actually the state in the bigger sense of that, rather than the state, and as you'd know it in the US, the country. Building partnerships to deal with Māori issues and problems, primarily with the state, but not always, occasionally with the private sector, is going to be the only way these tribal entities will be able to achieve their mission. But the risk, of course, is that you lose your nationhood in the process. So Big stakes, high risks, and no one's worked out the right way to do it yet.